Welcome, beautiful souls. Hello. Thank you so much for tapping in, turning on, tuning in with I, Enchantress, the Bible, on our evolutionary, revolutionary rise of a high that's happening right here at this moment in time. So I am just showing my face for this moment in time just to go over some updates and stuff like that. There's so much going on. I'm just in the midst of lots of things. And so exciting things too, lots of things that will be discussed and not discussed, but it doesn't matter. Either way, the one highlight that I wanted to update you all on is that for the last 5 years, I've had my website and stuff like that. For the first 3 years, it was enchantressthebabbler.com. And for the last 2 years, it was witchyutopian.com. And now, so it has been revamped, revised, renewed. And so it is back to being enchantressthebabbler.com. I know, but it is what it is at the end of the day. I thought I was ending my websites. As you know, I all made an announcement early on in the year, and I took a break. I took a break from my website. Sometimes we have so many things going on, and sometimes we need to let things fall apart in order for the things that need to be put back together in the form that it needs to be put back in and stuff like that. So I just feel like that's what that was about, because clarity reigns when you just when you really listen intuitively to your inner guidance and wisdom and stuff like that. So I listened promptly. I had told you guys, I had announced early on in the year that Witchy Utopian was going to be no more, and blah, 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 blah. And I thought it was going to be that way. I thought that's where I was going. I was going to be off of a website and whatever the case may be. And as lo and behold, as you would know, now that this update is here, enchantressthebabbler.com, which I thought I had retired 2 years ago, is now back up again. So enchantressthebabbler.com, that is your one-stop shop for everything metaphysical, spiritual, evolutionary, for you and I to further connect on and stuff like that. So there you would be able to book me for your services, one-on-ones here, for pop-ups, events, fundraising, and things like that. I've been doing a lot of different things as of late. I've just been everywhere. Things are good. You know what I'm saying? So that's good and stuff like that. Things are good in turbulent times, right? And so it's just a matter of our energy perspective and where we are in our evolutionary revolution, right? So I am excited to launch it, and it has been launched, enchantressthebabbler.com. So definitely go subscribe for free, so that you don't miss a beat. There you will be able to purchase too. I ship worldwide. The Mystic Flame candles. So it's get it while it's hot, because you know how me I am as an artist, as a creative. I create things that go pretty fast and it's all a schmood within a mood and within a moon cycle, right? So it's get it while it's hot. Like, just because I make something once doesn't mean I'll make it again. You know what I'm saying? So definitely go check that out over there. It's very simple as of right now. I'll continuously be adding to it and stuff like that. So remember, things take time, right? So, but I also custom order requests, as I do always. I do custom orders for many kind of things, spiritual baths still, custom candle work and all that other kind of stuff too. So definitely that's the place to go for you and I to continue to knit together fabulously and stuff like that, or whatever the case may be, right? So Mystic Flame candles, if you're interested, that will be at enchantressthebabbler.com. Now, what else? I think I'm gonna stop right there. I'm gonna stop right there. There are other things that I want to share, but I'm gonna stop right there. Like, let it stop right there. Okay. So yeah, awesome. So this video right here is going to be about Saturn going direct, and if I find that it's very important to definitely, I shared it in my community board, to a video that I did like 7-8 months ago, or whatever the case may be, on me debunking this whole Saturn being moved into Pisces. But it doesn't necessarily mean that I'm not saying that Saturn isn't working with Pisces. I have my own unique spin on these things and stuff like that. So I just find that Saturn's still in Aquarius, but it's also working with Pisces. And I find that this duo, Aquarius and Pisces, this quirky couple, right? That's what I want to call it. It's like this because I think that if Aquarius and Pisces were to date, right, they would be this quirky, odd couple being asked to be life partners together, right? So I feel like that's what's going on at this time. So Saturn is direct back again in some astrologies, whether you follow Vedic or Western. In Western astrology, it'll be saying Saturn is in Pisces direct, and in Vedic astrology, it'll be saying Saturn is in Aquarius direct. I infuse both. So that's how it is. If that's not what if you have to pick a side and all this other kind of stuff, if that's your type of vibe and all this kind of, then my channel's not for you. You know what I'm saying? But either way, take with it the mana that it will be here for you in every kind of way. I'm just gonna flip the camera around and get into that, whatever that I'm going to be talking about with all of you about Saturn going direct and what does that mean for you and I. You know what I'm saying? On our evolutionary, revolutionary high that's happening at this moment in motherfucking time right now. You know what I'm saying? So either way, I'm hot. Whoa, I was drinking tea. Tea, right? Tea. Yeah. So yeah, that's my announcement. Anything else? Also follow me on all my other social media platforms. You have Instagram at Enchantress, ENCHANTRESS. That's me, the one and only. You have enchantressthebabbler.com. You have my blog, Enchanting Babble, on Blogger, enchantingbabble.blogspot.com. You have my TikTok, Alchemistic Poetess. What else? There's so much. There's so much. There's so much. You could also purchase my book on Amazon, The Darker Night Light of My Soul, Volume 1, Love Bites, Volume 2, Death Becomes Her, coming to a theater near you soon. Definitely connect with me over there. You can subscribe to my Instagram. You can follow me on Instagram for free, or you can subscribe too. Subscribe, you pay a small fee monthly, or whatever the case may be. And you can get one-on-one affordable coaching and just a whole bunch of awesomeness behind the scenes over there, where you will receive immediate access to hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of content that is evolutionary, revolutionary, and just for you. Okay. 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 Also, another note, look, there's a lot of people that are going to be talking a lot of crap about a lot of stuff. And there's a lot of people that will raise their eyebrows and will look at you a certain type of way, or not give you the kudos that you deserve. You know what I mean? And I don't mean to say like that. It's not to toot our own horns and things like that. But I just want to say that for those of you that are out there, tapped in, turned on, tuned in, and there's a sense of like, where you feel undervalued, underappreciated, or something like that in some kind of way, just know that just to keep doing what you are doing, that collectively on a whole other level that's beyond our human capacity to really understand, the world needs you. The world needs you. The world needs you. I don't want to get emotional. The world needs you. Okay. So that was it. The world needs you. And so you keep on rocking. And if they want to keep on knocking you down and stuff like that, you can only get knocked down if you allow them to continuously knock you down. You know what I'm saying? And so just tune them out. Tune them out. If they don't have access to you, how can they like really shoot you down? You know what I'm saying? Let them, just because you're sensitive to the energies that are around you, even if it's coming from afar and all this other kind of stuff, they don't have access to you. Access denied. You know what I'm saying? So you keep on striving, keep on thriving, keep on doing you in every single beautiful way. There's evolutionary, revolutionary, every kind of way. And you keep being a good person. Because a lot of these phonies and a lot of these phony balonies, right? A lot of these phony balonies, they're not even good people. They're nasty behind the scenes. They're just not really good people. So you keep being authentic, you keep being true, you let them keep on working on their attitudes, let them work on their energy, because that's where they really need to go, is work on their energy. And you keep focusing on you, and you keep doing the good that you're doing in this world, because it is needed, especially now at this time when there's just war going on everywhere. You know what I mean? The war is within. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. You know what I mean? Let them shade you, let them hate on you, let them evil eye you. They're really doing it to themselves. And I know that we could take it personally. I know that we can be sensitive about it. I'm fucking sensitive. I'm so sensitive. I'm sensitive. I'm beyond sensitive. I'm so sensitive. I feel shit on a nuclear level. And I gotta transmute that bitch. And so we're the transmuters of this world. Right? So if you need a little pep talk, that's what I'm here for. Not on some fake phony shit for clout. On some private shit. That's what I'd be about. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Hello. So here we are. We're going to start talking about Saturn direct in Aquarius, which began Saturn, whatever astrology you follow. I'm going to talk about it, like I said, in both, right? Vedic and Western too, right? And if you're not with that and all this other kind of stuff, you don't have to be. You know what I'm saying? You can just keep it moving along. But either way, we'll talk about it together, like, you know, and individually too. So Saturn is direct in Aquarius, right? Beginning November 4th, right? Or if you follow, Saturn is direct in Pisces, right? Depending on what you follow. I personally don't believe it to be in Pisces as of yet, but it doesn't mean that I don't receive it, that Pisces is influencing the dynamic duo. Like I said, this is like a quirky relationship and stuff like that. So, but either way, in Vedic astrology, Saturn is direct in Aquarius, right? And Saturn is one of the main planets, right? And this is the Lord of justice and karma, right? So Saturn is also known as Shani, right? And it's considered as a malefic planet, right? And it became retrograde, right? In Aquarius or Pisces, depending on what you believe, right? Around in June of 2023. But as of November 4th, right, Saturn has become direct in whether you believe it's Pisces or Aquarius, right? So I'm gonna speak about it both here. I shared with you already. I posted in the community board. That's what I was saying, I think, before. I posted in the community board, my Saturn being debunked in Pisces video. So you would definitely want to go check that out, right? So Saturn is one of the strongest planets. So we got 3 of Cups. We got things working, right, together fruitfully, right? Especially look at whether you want to look at this individually, whether you want to look at this, but I just feel like there's a harmonic component here happening, right? With the strongest planet, right? Among all the 9 planets, right? Of the 9 planets that is known for in astrology, right? It's right? It's giving results of good karma. Well, hopefully, right? Depending on who's watching, you know what I mean? But the result according to your own personal karma, right? Hopefully it's good, is all I'm saying. But here, for those of you tapped in, turned on, tuned in, right? We have this here, whether it's on an individual plane, like me, myself, and I, right? On a whole harmonic kind of level. Or I don't like to separate our inner selves and our outer selves and our higher selves and our lower selves, because it's all, even though for us to understand it and stuff like that, for us to understand it, we speak about it and we can compartmentalize different things to just really come into truth and clarity about the wholeness of our being. At the end of the day, we are a whole being, no matter how we pick ourselves apart. You know what I'm saying? So a higher self, lower self, inner self, you know, all this is it's all encompassing for whatever. So I just feel like there's harmony here. And this too, as within exudes on out. So the harmony that's going to exist within your being, you're also going to experience that outside your being too. You know what I'm saying? So Saturn teaches us like the harsh realities of life, right? It teaches us the harsh reality of life. And there are a lot of lessons and things that we whether we want to or not, we end up having to learn. You know what I'm saying? So it never only shows the good side, but also the bad. You know what I'm saying? So most of the times when people are under, right, this Shani Dasha, right, because Shani Dasha in Vedic astrology, they have to face so many ups and downs that things have to that happen in their own life and stuff like that, right? So because Saturn teaches us, right? Saturn teaches us how to be disciplined, This is why I feel like if we were to look at it energetically, from an energetic perspective, definitely go check out my Saturn and Pisces debunked video. This is why I said it can't possibly be fully in Pisces yet, because we're still not done learning. We're still, you still have people on this cycle of life from all different walks of lives, still working through their karma, still working through their lessons, still learning how to be disciplined. So if we're speaking about it from an energetic perspective, how can it be yet in Pisces to go to the next full level, right? Which we'll talk about and stuff like that. If we're still learning, if we still need to learn, if there's still discipline that needs to be made, you know what I'm saying? Like, look at what's happening in this world right now. How can it possibly be in that Piscean healing water when there's war going on out there, right? When we want to wash it all away. So either way, Saturn teaches us, right, how to be disciplined in life. It teaches us all the lessons of life, like if it's a teacher, right? Because Saturn is our teacher. Saturn, I call it great grandpa Saturn, right? There's grandpa Jupiter and there's great grandpa Saturn. There's lessons to be learned, right? And two, it all depends on the placement of Saturn in our own personal birth charts, as it's considered, whether it's considered like auspicious or inauspicious or whatever the case may be, right? Saturn looks, how it looks in our chart is going to be individualized for everybody. So, you know, definitely learn your Saturn placements and stuff like that, and where in your chart are you being taught certain type of lessons or being made to be more disciplined in, you know what I'm saying? So right, so it's definitely going to bring, like, especially like so like if these planets are placed in Rahu, Ketu, and Mars, right? And this is in Vedic astrology, right? So don't get lost with the words. That's why I don't like to really use a lot of these words and stuff like that, because I don't want you to get lost in the lostness of the words. You know what I'm saying? It's just, you know, it's energy and stuff like that. So, right, but if that's like, if you have Saturn placements in those, right, it's definitely going to bring struggles and obstacles in life, right? But on the other hand, like if Saturn's in with benefic with placements that are beneficial. Oh my gosh, is Mercury is retrograding. That's that's funny. And some beneficial planets, right? Like such as Jupiter, right? Venus. Then it's gonna give good results for sure. That was the whole point I was freaking making. That's just whatever, right? So, right. So Saturn goes direct, right? And I just feel like there's a harmony here. There's a working together here. There's a placement of bringing forth something, right? Look at the Empress energies here too, right? So fruitfulness, right? The birth of something new, right? New beginnings. And look at so much heart energy, right? So much cup energy here, right? So Queen of Cups, King of Cups, what? The Lovers, okay, right? And it could be coming too, right? From, so, right? Two, the High Priestess, tapped in, turned on, tuned in to the energies of that which is being presented for you. The sun, here comes the sun, right? So here comes the sun, the birth of something new. So even like, look at like a life partnership, a partnership, or some kind of complementary partnership, whether it's in business, love, romance, whatever the case may be, within your own being. It has to be within your own being before it could be external too, because any conflict from within, you're gonna be presented with it on out, like too. You know what I'm saying? So let's say you're in a relationship and there's hidden things left brushed under the carpet. You might expect that during these times for that to be catapulted into awareness, or into, it needs to be fucking dealt with type of shit. You know what I'm saying? Right? So this is a time for us to really truly harmonize. Oh shoot, hold on to that. All right. Right. Either way, right? So it's just like when people be like, oh my God, they fear Mercury in retrograde and stuff like that, right? Because the complications, the communication complications and stuff like that. So think about Saturn retrograding, right? What does that mean, right? And so anywhere in astrology, right, represents like review, revise, reconsider, realign, right, revisit, and so on, like these type of words, right? So it's like taking a step backwards, right, to allow for many steps forward, right? So now Saturn's direct again, right? So but when it was retrograding, I'm like trying to like, what is up with this, right? When it was retrograding, there was a sacred pause. Let's just say that, a sacred pause, right? Inviting us to take a look around, take a look see, right? Using your intuition, using your wisdom, using that which you know, right? Because you tapped in, turned on, tuned in, right? Let me review, right? Who I am on this path that I'm walking upon, right? Who am I? Right? Whom are you? Right? Type of stuff, right? So that we can integrate, right, our living experiences, right? To consider our past journeys too, to consider that which has passed, right? With those that which have passed, right? Those the lovers, right? And things like that. So it's like, let me consider these past journeys. Let me consider where I have left things unresolved, right? Let me review, let me revise, let me reconsider, right? Let me realign, right? So that I can continue pushing forward, right? Because that's what retrogrades remind us of, right? That life, no matter how we try, it's not linear, right? Our journey is cyclical, right? So that which we are doing, we move up, we move down, and every other direction as possible. And our inner world is no different. And so all these things are taking place. So remember, I don't think in Western astrology, they'll say Saturn is already in Pisces. I don't mean to confuse those of you that follow one or the other and stuff like that and not into infusing how I do and all this kind of stuff. You are free to do however you want to do. But I really don't feel that it's fully in Pisces. What the fudge? I'm sorry. I know that you probably don't hear all of that commotion in the back, but my cats I don't know what they be doing. Right? But I feel like Pisces is here though, right? Because it's preparing us to get ready, right? So it's like the meeting, it's like the courtship, right? So while Saturn is still in Aquarius, this is how I'm looking at it. This is just my colorful metaphor of how I'm putting it together, right? Saturn's still in Aquarius. It's going to be there for like another 2 years or so, right? Whatever the case may be. And it just met its life partner, Pisces. Okay. And it's like, wow, this is like um two people meeting from two different cultures. This is like two people meeting with an age gap. This is like two people meeting. One's really tall and one's really short. Like this is like two people meeting, and they're just like two different elements. Like and they're like, but they click. They get along. They have chemistry. They have this quirkiness to them, right? Because that's what Aquarius and Pisces are. They're so quirky, and they're now. So I just feel like it's this preparation, it's this courtship, right? That's taking place, this dance, this tango. They're learning it though right now, right? Because but what is the preparation from Aquarius to Pisces, right? And what's that doing, right? Because what does Saturn in Pisces mean? This is why I say it can't possibly be fully in Pisces yet, because Saturn desires self-mastery, right? Of each and every one of us, right? So it's calling us to realize certain kind of how to fulfill our potential. So to become who we are here to be, right? And so Saturn reminds us of this type of mastery and stuff that is taking place within us, right? And so these type of things cannot be rushed, right? But it's a challenge. It's a challenge, right? Because mastery isn't something that we reach only through the mind. If it was that simple, we would all be there already, right? Like how many times we could think something and be like, that's it. That's it. But until you start doing that what you must, you got to start building that pattern of consistency to get yourself into that, right? It's like dream journaling, right? It's like you could think and you'd be like, I know that dream journaling will be really good for me, right? Especially for the type of dreams that I have, and for me to psychologically analyze this, tap into my subconscious, also my premonitions, my visions, and all this kind of stuff, distinguishing from all these kind of different places. But until you start putting into practice that which you are supposed to be doing, right? So this is like putting into practice that which you're supposed to be doing, and I feel like that challenge is still here for most of us, because there's still, like, as you get through one hurdle or one discipline that you're mastering, there's another fucking discipline right around the corner saying, okay, now that you mastered that, here, you got to master this. So it's like, and I like that Saturn going direct, right? Now it's like in the retrograde period, like while you're hitting all, you're bumping your head, you're scraping your knees, and you're still working through your mood swings and all this other kind of stuff, or whatever the case may be, right? Now it being direct and moving forward, now it's like you already took those notes. Now it's like, okay, let's apply this mastery into our lives, like in a new kind of way, right? So and it's not going to just happen through our mind. It just like it just can't. I wish it could. I wish it could, because forget about it. I'll be real true master up in here, right? But so the challenges is steeped in our climb, and the gift of who we become, right, through this climb, as we reach the top, like it's going to be beneficial to all of us, right, in every kind of way. So, right, because Pisces, right, we think about Pisces, I think about the High Priestess as the Pisces card. I know that it's people can say other type of signs and stuff like that, but I just think about when we tap into our intuitions, like, it's watery, the water element, right? But it's all of the elements encompassing, because although we can look at water as fluid and water emotion and all this other kind of stuff, and stuff being tapped into the mind, being tapped into the spirit, being tapped into the universe, being tapped into everything that all is, I just feel like if in an evolutionary scale of astrology, Piscean would be that water, that it would be that intuition, it would be that mastery of that type of stuff too. Someone who could have an initials D, J, whatever the case may be. It could be a life path number 2. You don't have to be 23, 33, 32. You don't have to be, but either way, it could be water signs, have water dominant in your chart, right? You can have a water moon, water rising, water, whatever the case may be, sun. You know what I'm saying? So either way, right? But we're here to become who we are meant to be. And Saturn reminds us, right, that mastery cannot be given, it cannot be rushed, right? And to be reached, we have to conquer these challenges over and over and over again, right? I hate to use the word challenge, but it is what it is at the end of the day, right? So we can't reach it through just our mind. We have to reach it, we have to embody this, right? We learn through our experience and that integration of this experience. And so, yeah, the gift of who we become is us reaching the top, like reaching the top of that, right? So when we tap into like the watery elements, right, of Pisces, everything that exists, right? Pisces is everything that exists beyond time and space, and the intangible realms, right? The realms of the imagination, right? The realms of the imagination, the realms of spirituality, the realms of emotion, the realm of compassion, right? And our creativity, right? And Saturn is the boundaries of time and space where everything tangible exists within. So, right, it's opposite in nature, right? It's opposite in nature. So when Saturn's invitation into the waters of Pisces, it's to become the form, the structure, the ice sculpture, right? The it's to become like, that form, the structure, the doorway, the portal, right? The portal, where we're embodying, like, the Piscean dream, the utopia, right? Of all that is the compassion, the imagination, the vision, right? Moving through the intangible into the tangible, right? Making the intangible tangible and stuff like that. So these next 2 or 3 years, I feel like it's with Aquarius, right? They're doing this dance, right? We're invited to cultivate, right? This self-responsibility, Aquarius, right? The self-identity, right? I feel like there's still a whole like collective of people still figuring out whom they are, right? They're still figuring out their identity. And then we have all this stuff going on in this world that you can see the loss of identity everywhere. This is why people copy people. This is why if you go on YouTube and all this kind of stuff, everybody's saying the same shit, but over and over and over again, because they hear it from this person, that person, that person, that person. And everybody's just saying the same shit. Everybody's just doing the same shit. Everybody's rocking out the same hairstyle. everybody's talking about the same thing. You talk about the lingo, and then they like, whatever the case may be. I'm not gonna get into that because that should just irk my skin. It's just, but here it goes. Like my for me, like and the collective that's like me, that's annoyed by behaviors like that, and people with no identity and all this. We have to purge this too. We have to transmute that too. We have to transform that too. We shouldn't be annoyed. I shouldn't be annoyed, because I should be compassionate enough to really understand a person's place that might be really lost in themselves. And so instead of getting angry or upset because of the shade or the evil eye or the stuff sent my personal way by people like that, folks like that, and energies like that, my compassion should be larger than life. And so, Saturn has a way of working with all of us for different reasons. So we might experience these certain kind of things so that there are no more triggers for us in certain kind of ways, right? So it's about healing, right? The responsibility for our emotions, and it's about healing these emotions, right? Healing our relationship to structure, healing our mindset about, like, how, like, one of the things that like was a trigger for me for a long time, where people, when they would say, oh, if it's not one thing, it's another, I would say that too. That's like a horrible conditioned mindset to have, right? If it's not one thing, it's another, because you're expecting something else to like always come in and uproot or like mess up or something like that, right? So it's healing our relationship to structure, right? 7 of Wands. Even when we feel attacked, even when we feel like we our back is up against the wall, even if we feel like we have to have our guard up, you know what I'm saying? Like even through that, like healing our guards being up, right? Finding a creativity, right? Finding creativity in this ordeal of having to be defensive or having to stand up for what you believe in or figure out what it is and stuff like that, and stand your fucking ground, right? It's like standing our ground no matter what, right? So it's understanding what boundaries mean to us, right? What do boundaries mean to you? What have you learned about this, right? On an emotional and on an energetic level, what have you learned about that? So building a level of certain types of resilience in our creative and our spiritual practice, right? And relating that to our self-discipline and as a language of love instead of punishment, right? So the same thing what I was saying, like me being triggered by super people. You see, but I use humor. Humor is one of my greatest tools. And if people can't appreciate my twisty humor, then whatever, they can keep it moving too. You know what I'm saying? But having to defend yourself, having to stand up for yourself, having to do these type of things, right? But learning it through the language of love now instead of punishment, right? Because, right, people that like to punish people, like, oh my gosh, watch, that's your karma. Your karma is going to come back to you. You got to heal that too. Because you shouldn't be wanting people's karma to be playing out. Instead, we should be wanting the harmony that's needed for us to all get along, in some type of degree. So if you're still spewing out like, oh, you're gonna get what you're gonna get, we each get what we get and all this other kind of stuff, or you're like waiting for the day for somebody to pay for what you feel like they need to pay for, that shit is sad. And it could be people from the past too, right? Because we got the 6 of Cups energy right here. It could be people from the past. But what you should be focused upon is that what you are bringing and birthing into reality, right? This pentacle, this coin, this creativity, what color do you want to paint your roses? What color do you want to paint your scenery? What color do you want to paint your life? Because it's here. It's one life to live and you're building it. Right? So in the world of Pisces though, right, we'll find that our journey into self-mastery, it's about finding the emotional well-being that is needed to navigate all of these waters and to actually create that intangible reality. Even if others are fighting against us, it's like, just because others are fighting doesn't mean you have to fight too. It's like learning how to navigate the war without so much roar. You know what I mean? So like what narratives of discipline are playing out in your life or existing within you, how true are you today and how up to date are you to your own disciplines and mastery to your own disciplines, right? So it's a moment and a time to reflect upon that which exists, right? The relationship that you have with your dreams, your imaginations, and the reality around you. It's like finding that infusion, right? So how true are you to that for yourself in some kind of way, right? How confident and how trusting are you when to feel this within yourself, right? To bring them into your lived experiences, right? Because here the four swords, so how reflective, how meditative, how how well are you in this rest state? How, are you resting enough? Are you reflecting enough to see, to give yourself the opportunity to see? So like in the beginning of this video, when I was talking about my website, I said, you know, I followed my intuition, I listened to that, I spoke way ahead early on in the year, and I was getting rid of my website. But all I needed was that rest period away from the website to really see, oh, okay, wow, okay, maybe I'm not getting rid of it. I just needed a rest from that. You know what I'm saying? Right? So here we are, the devil, right? But what do we chain ourselves to? What are we chained to? What behaviors, patterns, and conditioning still navigate our waters? How are they influencing your environment? You know what I mean? Hold on, please. I need to like stretch my legs. So whatever the case may be, right? I'm just gonna shuffle again on camera. Okay. So it's just a time to reflect, right? On your own relationship with your dream, on your own relationships with your imagination, with your own relationship, um, with how confident and trusting you feel, right? In regards to the things that maybe you're still tied to, right? And how you bring them into your living experience now, like lessons learned, right? How is that showing up for you right now? How are your lessons learned showing up for you in a favorable way, right? The opportunity to look at your own emotional and energetic health at this time, right? And anything that you are still clinging to or tied to. And this could be triggers. This could be how the devil can come around left field while you're in your freaking castle. You're walking your grounds, you're in your heart space, mind space, evolutionary space. And then the devil comes, says something the wrong way, and you're like, huh? Like, you get what I mean? Like what we give our attention to, right? So what about your sense of boundaries? And how a sense of healthy separation actually allows us to reach deeper connection with all that there is, right? Moving forward productively and in a healthy kind of way, right? Working upon that which we need to work upon for ourselves and what we're creating for ourselves. Never mind what's going on over there. You know what I mean? Right. So yeah, so it's about two like retrogrades, right? When they're retrograding, even though it's direct, I still we need to focus, right? Retrogrades invite review so that we may see where we need to rewrite, right? To rewrite our stories, our narratives, our identities, and all that we got going on for ourselves, right? So Six of Wands, I saw right there, victorious, right? So retrogrades invite a sacred pause, right? So that we can look around, so that we can notice where we need to realign our paths, right? Before walking forward once again, which is when it goes direct, right? So this opportunity that we have now to begin rewriting our story and realigning our path, right? Like what was that narrative that you were creating? It's where now we're invited to take practical steps and tangible actions towards all that we have been integrating within this underground world of the retrograde world, all these weeks that it's been retrograde, right? So this is bringing us a sense of clarity, right? As Saturn stations direct, Saturn moves forward, right? in whatever it is that you want to look at it as, Aquarius or whatever the case may be, or Pisces, right? Hold on. Well, anyway. So yeah, it's like where we look, the Hierophant, spiritual, right? The Empress with the Hierophant right here. This is like a institutional marriage, right? Within yourself, right? Because Saturn's the cosmic task maker, right? So as the cosmic right, as the cosmic task maker, right? This is what are we birthing, right? Right? What are we resuming? What are we taking directional course on, right? Right? This is a period of profound developments in our lives, right? And especially if we can understand Saturn's role in astrology for us at this time, right? Because Saturn is very important, especially in astrology, right? It resembles like in intangible, like in intangible form, but like time, right? It behaves like an accountant, the accountant of the zodiac, right? It calculates all of our good and our bad karmas and gives us the reward or punishment like a judge, period, right? That's why it's considered a cold planet, right? It's a hard taskmaster and is known to be a no nonsense planet. It's like if you ever watch those videos like with the DUIs, and when you come across the police officers that are like no nonsense, like, no, you're driving under the influence. You go in jail, right? Right? So shit like that, right? So when Saturn transitions from retrograde to direct in its orbit, it signifies a shift in a way that its energy influences our lives and the world at large, period, right? Because retrograde motion occurs when a planet appears to move backwards in the zodiac from our perspective here on Earth, right? So during that phase, the influence of the planet's energy tends to be a little bit more introspective and focused on reevaluating or reworking, right? These reads, right? Certain areas of life that the planet governs in our birth chart. So it's very significant when it turns direct, whether you want to look at it as Aquarius or Pisces. I'm telling you, I'm looking at like the odd couple duo, because it was an Aquarius. It still is an Aquarius. It's going to be an Aquarius for the next, I don't know the time frame, but I think it's like 2-3 years or whatever the case may be, before fully moving into Pisces. But Pisces is met its life partner. So they're courting, they're going into the courting phase, right? Because Saturn is known for discipline, structure, and karmic lessons, right? So moving from retrograde to direct, it indicates a change from a more reflective, internalized energy to a more assertive, forward-moving force, right? So to begin with, this brings greater clarity and momentum to our lives, right? So Saturn turns direct, that's great, right? So there's going to be a shift towards a clearer path, right? Any kind of delays or obstacles that we might have been experiencing, right, during the retrograde phase will start to dissipate, right? Allowing for progress in various life aspects governed by Saturn's influence. Is interesting because we're like, I've been meaning to do this video, but like when I was thinking about it and I didn't, I realized too, like I had like a cleaning day, like a freaking full cleaning day when it's stationed direct. Like I just cleaned the house, like I'm talking about from like top to bottom, walls, everything, and all this other kind of stuff. And then when I realized what day it was, and I was like, oh my gosh, Saturn stationed direct, like, you know, like it's just getting shit in tip top order and really like cleaning house, right? Taking action. It's a time for action, right? Because Saturn goes direct. It's a time for taking action. So whatever you were sleeping on, let's say you weren't feeling well, or you let the laundry get to, like, you know, I posted some funny stuff on my Instagram at Enchantress. You should definitely go check it out. Enchantress, ENCHANTRESS. But like, you know, like when they say, oh, put your laundry on the bed, so to make sure that you do put it away. And then me as fuck, it says like, because with the laundry on the bed, you just push the laundry over to the side of the bed and you go to sleep anyways. Like, you know what I mean? So it's like, nah, now it's like you're putting away that laundry, right? You're cleaning, you're mopping, you're sweeping, you're washing all the dishes, all the stuff that you were like procrastinating on and all this other kind of stuff is like greater sense of movement, right? Like if you were procrastinating on something during the retrograde period, like, you know, making stuff, like, you know, or you know, creating inventory, or like, you know, your website, candles, like, you know, your business ideas and all this kind of stuff. So now it's like direct motion, right? It signifies a time of taking action on all these kind of things, right? So it's bringing greater clarity, greater focus and purpose, right? But it also signifies a time when karmic consequences of past actions would become more apparent, right? So if you were fucking up and you were doing shit that you shouldn't have been doing and all this kind of stuff, it's like you gonna reap what you sow, bro, right? Like it's like okay, right? So it's like, you know, you get what you give type of thing, right? So what have you been giving? You know what I'm saying? Like that type of shit. Hold on. I need I need water. Hold on. I just realized the time and I'm gonna start going. So I'm gonna start. I grabbed another deck though. This one's a little bit big for my hands, so hold on before I do that. Right. So either way, like these karmic consequences, whether they be good, bad, whatever the case may be, the point that I'm trying to make is that is the result of our earlier actions, and those things become more evident, right? So now that Saturn resumes its normal motion, right? This is the phase for building structures and foundations, right? Whether it's in our personal life, professional life, societal structures, all of the above, right? You know, it is what it is. It's a time for hard work, right? Discipline and building the stability that we desire, right? So this is a time for personal growth and application, right? The hangman, the surrendering to this cause, right? For our personal growth and the application, right? Of having learned our lessons. Like, have you really learned what you needed to learn, or are you faking the funk, right? You know what I mean? And you're gonna work through this type of stuff, right? The Knight of Cups, right? Coming into your emotional, passionate side, right? The unicorn, right? So drinking that which is for you, right? Because it's a time for your own personal growth, right? So the transition from retrograde to direct motion is an optimal time to reestablish routines and set forth realistic goals, embracing discipline and taking ownership of your own actions, right? Laying out the groundwork, right? Strength, right? We got the strength card right here, right? Laying out the groundwork for personal and professional growth too, right? So based on Saturn's ownership and placement in Aquarius, or right, I'm saying Aquarius, yeah, I'm gonna say Aquarius, fuck that, right? So you can look at the certain life areas in which you need to take additional responsibility for based on your rising sign, right? So you will look at your rising sign for this, right? So you can look at the maybe I'll do, if I have enough time, I'll go through the signs and we'll just speak a little bit and stuff like that. But I do want to pull one of these and stuff like that, right? Because I just think it's important, especially during this transition, right? This transition of Saturn from retrograde to direct motion offers us a gateway, right? It offers us a gateway to growth and progress, right? To growth and progress, right? Despite Saturn's reputation, I love great grandpa Saturn. Like I've been saying that Saturn's been in my fucking birth chart for the last, I want to say, good 10 years or so, right? For the amount of work that they've been doing, because of the signs that it be in and stuff like that. And in Vedic astrology, my moon is in Aquarius, right? Whatever the case may be. And in Western astrology, my moon is in Pisces, right? So that's interesting. And I was just thinking about that quirky. No wonder I'm so damn quirky. I got that dynamic duo, right? And you know, whatever the case may be, right? But despite Saturn's reputation as a strict taskmaster, its teachings are invaluable for our own personal and collective evolution, right? So I think that's just confusion, embracing family, right? Present parallel, right? Confusion. Let's see what this is about. Right? So Andromedans, right? The Andromedans, right? So 4. Let's see what that's about. We often feel safe and secure when things stay the same. Change might be hard for some of you. You know what I mean? It's not easy to embrace change sometimes, especially if you have a fixed, if you have if you have fixed signs anywhere dominant in your chart, right? So we have the fixed signs of Taurus, you have the fixed signs, so you have Taurus, then you have Taurus, Scorpio, Leo. All right, so Taurus, Leo. All right, so Earth, Taurus. Right, and then fire, Leo. And then air, Aquarius, right? What element am I forgetting? On water, Scorpio, right? So Scorpio, Aquarius, Leo, and Taurus. I'm so sorry. So like, I didn't even say it in the order, but it's okay. All right. So if you have any of those dominant in your chart, change may not be as easy for you as it is for other elements. You get what I'm saying? And so you, with a heart of compassion, you should have towards yourself and for the degree of evolution that occurs for you. You know what I mean? Just think about what kind of powerful transmuter you truly can be due to the fixed qualities in your own elements that are not easy for you to change. You know what I mean? So when things change, we feel a profound sense of disorientation or confusion until we can realign ourselves. And I feel like that's what's happening now. It's like that parallel kind of thing, right? In the new reality, right? So when things change, we feel a profound sense of disorientation or confusion until we can realign ourselves in the new reality and build a map for navigating it. To help this process, try to see that often the same messages or life lessons are being given to you in different packages, right? Find the continuity in these different messages and you will ease the confusion. Confusion is only the fear that you don't have a map for the reality in which you find yourself. The Andromedans are masters of change and rising above confusion. Let their energy guide you, right? And right, so it says, in order to understand this card, you must understand the concept explained for card 3. The idea of constant change is actually embraced and understood by Andromedans because they see the fear of change as being connected to the state of attachment. Attachment to things, ideas, or ways of being can deeply hinder awakening and growth. Thus, the Andromedan reality reflects these principles. When we walk down the street, we see a consistent reality that seemingly doesn't change. But in Andromedan reality, which is more aligned with the true state of pure consciousness, reality changes constantly as a reflection of the observer. This is true for humans also, but we haven't yet understood this fact. If people cannot or will not embrace change and create a safe harbor or anchor in their own consciousness rather than the external world, they will experience a profound confusion and fear when reality inevitably changes and they feel lost. Then they become distracted by the phenomenon, positive or negative, of the manifested 3D world. It's like a compass that has stopped working. They lose touch with their inner sense of direction and focus. This card is speaking about that state. If it comes up in the reading, it is usually a warning to not succumb to this trap of physical reality and to examine your life to see where you have accepted illusions as truth. Once again, there are many Andromedan guides and masters who can assist in this process. Then we have embracing family, right? The Zeta Reticuli, the present, right? So let's read that card. Right? So here we go. When we live in fear, we live in isolation. We often withdraw from those we love in order to protect ourselves. The Zetas did this as they passed through their species crisis. But now that the crisis has been averted, they are reaching out to their family, genetic and spiritual, who helped them in their darkest hour. It's time for you to do the same. Even if life is still difficult, open yourself to receive the support and love from your family, whether it's a genetic or spiritual family. Do not be afraid to show your true self to them and know they will love and support you unconditionally, right? So this card refers to an era in Zeta history when their species crises had passed and they had to rebuild from the foundation upward. In their darkest time, they vowed never to feel emotion, thinking that emotion was the cause of their problems, right? This caused them tremendous isolation, a feeling of being cut off from the universe and from each other. And we can feel like that too, right? Well, when we have to set our boundaries and when we feel betrayed or we feel like, like shaded or undervalued and appreciated, especially by those we love and care for and things like that. It can be like, it can make you be like, well, damn, I'm not going to be so emotional towards these people. I'm not going to, I got to like ice myself out because I'm taking shit personally. And listen, take this from me. Like, I got strong Scorpio tendencies in my chart, right? In Vedic astrology, I'm a Scorpio, right? Even though in Western astrology, I'm a Sagittarius. But like I take shit so personally, right? But I'm an emotional being, right? And there have been times in my life where I have iced out people. And let me tell you, that only did my evolution damage. Granted, I had to go through the experience to really appreciate its value of its lesson, its Saturnian lesson, right? It's like if you close off to love, right? Like if you block off love, like you block off love from all angles, right? If you're blocking out this, you're blocking it out from all angles, and we really don't want to isolate ourselves like that, right? Anyways, let me just continue. Then I start babbling. Right? This caused them tremendous isolation of feeling of being cut off from the universe and from each other. One of the gifts humans have given to the Zetas through their contacts with each other is teaching them about the human family and what it means. If you pull this card, it can have several meanings depending on the surrounding cards and your life circumstances. Perhaps you are coming out of a time of isolation now because you do not want to burden your loved ones with your pain or suffering and you are wishing to reconnect with family once again. Or perhaps you're still in isolation. If that is the case, this card is telling you to open your heart once again and reach out to your human family of all types, as well as your universal one. It is safe. You can do it. If you have a particularly strong connection to the Zetas, this card may also refer to a lifetime you have lived during this era or a Zeta being contacting you now who is from this era. Open yourself and reconnect with whatever aspect of family is appropriate for you now. Let the love heal the scars of the past and pave the way to the future, right? And you could also be meeting like soul family tribes that align with you at this time, right? Because you deserve that. You deserve to have the type of energies and family and that sense of family orientation. Like I've seen repair in certain family dynamics in my life that I would have never imagined. Like from the state of being that it once was, once upon a time ago, when I say horror, 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 horror. And then as you evolve, you don't realize the impact that that has on the people around you. And sometimes it forces them to change. And you might not want to see that, but eventually you do, especially when someone transforms. There's certain people in my life that I disliked because they weren't good. And I can honestly say at this point of evolution on their fucking journey, those are not the same people as from once upon a time ago. So that's why I know that even if I have a falling out now with, let's say, someone and stuff like that, I know that there's room for evolution for that certain someone, for myself too, to see past this. But you can't stay stuck on what you think it is, because it's greater than that. If I would have stood stuck on the image I had of these people, my grandmother being one of them, right? My grandmother being one of them, when I tell you, well, maybe one day I will talk about that story, but we are not the same people. I am not that same little girl. She is not that same woman that I hated. And let me tell you, I would have never imagined the old me, the old version of myself that saw from those eyes and spoke from that heart space. I would be like, no way would this ever happen. This will happen in the future. But sometimes we got to get out of our own way. We got to get out of our own way because we don't see clearly, especially when we're emotionally charged up, especially when our hearts hurt, especially when we are pained by people, especially when the shit just hurts, period. When you're still hurting, you cannot possibly see clearly. And that's just real talk. It's not judgment. It's just real talk. If your heart hurts, you're still in pain, you're still triggered by certain kind of things from people, places, and things and memories and all this kind of stuff, there's no way that you can see from a healthy state of being. Because you're not there yet. Doesn't mean you can't get there. So to cast stones and to really like place someone in one space, we're infinite beings. So believe in the evolution, even if it's family. And I'm not saying that we should forgive every freaking body. Not everybody deserves that leveling of forgiveness from us, but we should forgive. That doesn't mean that they have to be back into your life, especially if they never changed. You know what I'm saying? That's not the type of example I'm giving here. That's not the type of example that I'm giving here. But we have this opportunity for like growth and societal advancement, especially now that Saturn's direct. Saturn holds such a pivotal role as the planet of justice and karma. And so its teachings are accompanied by trials and tribulations, right? And so we're going to encounter ups and downs. That's just life, period. And the outcome is going to depend, right, on its placement and association in our own lives with our own, whether you want to associate it with our birth charts or whatever the case may be, or just how we choose to handle certain kind of things. And that's not easy. That's not easy. So be kinder to yourself, be gentler to yourself, and be that way first. So that way, when as you have that for yourself, it's going to extend on out to others. Before you know it, your heart of compassion will grow and open even more. As I continue to work on myself, on my journey, and have compassion and self-love towards myself and respect towards myself, my relationships with everybody else around me changed, obviously. And especially my sight, I started to have a certain type of level of sight, even towards those that I couldn't stand. A different type of like even respect opening up for their journey that maybe I couldn't see before. And compassion just has this way of really humbling you. I never felt sorry for my grandma. Let's say I'm use her as an example because she's one of the best examples I could fucking give right now. Because if you don't know me, you don't understand the journey that I've had with her and how horrible it was, filled with hate, right? So to have this massive transformation of like harmony to exist, to this day, like I'm astounded by the evolution of that. But the change has to start from within. And that shit came like a sneak attack when I started having shifts about how I was looking at this woman. And mind you, at that time, I was fixed on my view of her. And it also took how she treated my daughter for me to soften. Because I was like, you know what? Because I'm not unfair. I'm really not. And I don't really like those people that play and use kids and put kids involved. Like, oh, they take the kid away from somebody that can have a great influence on them, unless they're being abusive or toxic and stuff like that. You know, you got to use your discernment. But she was wonderful to my daughter. She may have not been wonderful to me, but she was wonderful to my kid. And I softened. It didn't mean that everything went away, but it meant that the evolution within me was seeing her from a different light that I needed to see, that then opened up so many more doors for me to see, and then for this evolution to occur that now I'm like, this woman's completely different. Completely. I'm like, she must have had a spirit walk-in. And another spirit being took over, because I don't know what to tell you. You know what I'm saying? So you never know. So don't be so closed off And just consider too, if you have fixed signs in your chart, I said Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius. If you have any of those signs dominant in your chart, understand that you're standing on a very fixed, meaning that you could stay stuck in your view, especially if people, places, things, memories that can harden you to the core. And you don't want to be that way, because that way doesn't serve your evolution. And this is me telling you too, where I have Leo and freaking Scorpio in my chart and Aquarius. Dominant. Okay? I'm just saying. Just saying. Just saying. Right? So Saturn's retrograde too in Aquarius is marking the significant shift, right? Challenging us to integrate Piscean qualities into our lives. That's how I view that, right? Right? So seeking karmic balance. Look at that. 6, 7, 8. You could be a life path number 8. Could have been born 1986, 1983, 1980, 1984. You could be 48 years old. You could be 40. You could be 63 years old. You could be 36. You could be 38. You don't have to be. You could be life path number 4, life path number 3, life path number 6. You don't have to be, okay? It's just whatever. Oh my God, I just saw the time again. I gotta start hurrying up, guys. Right? So this is the Pleiades present, right? So right? So as a 4th to 5th density species in this era, Pleiadians are now experiencing a higher spiritual awakening. They recognize their past imbalances and have gained a sincere intention to balance karma by recognizing that all things happen for a reason and learning from their choices. Right? This card encourages you to do the same. A Pleiadian guide is most likely assisting you with this. Take an honest look at your repeating challenges and know that karma is at work. These obstacles are gifts to help you move to the next level of your growth. Embrace them and open to the lesson they are teaching you. So what I'm hearing right now too, and receiving right now too, is that you might be like a medium or have mediumship abilities or whatever the case may be, or you may be tapped in, turned on, tuned in to even energies that have been passed on, right? Your ancestors, family, loved ones, and stuff like that. And so I feel like they have like a Palladian energy to them. I don't know if that's gonna mean anything to some of you here, but like a Palladian energy, like a light spirit guide or something, an otherworldly presence that works with you in some kind of way, whether they show up in dreams, intuition, whatever the case may be, however it is that you tap in, turn on, tune in. I feel like that type of energy is influencing your environment at this time and being a light guide source, like a guardian angel of some type presence that is igniting you further into this type of leveling of alignment, right? So when the Pleiadians were a young species, they made many choices that they regretted. This created karma for many of them and for the species as a whole. But as they evolved, right? Oh shoot, I skipped. I'm sorry. This card encourages you to do the same. A Pleiadian guide is most likely assisting you with this. Take an honest look at your repeating challenges and know that karma is at work. These obstacles are gifts to help you move to the next level of your growth. Embrace them, right? Embrace them and open to the lesson they are teaching you. When the Pleiadians were a young species, they made many choices that they regretted. This created karma for many of them and for the species as a whole. But as they evolved, they learned to balance this karma by gaining wisdom about their past actions. And that could be you too, right? We're not, I hope that we're not the same, you know, right? I'm glad I'm not the same as I was before. You know what I'm saying? So this card refers to the era in which the Pleiadians matured as a species. They learned the lessons of their past and became committed to helping other younger species avoid making the same mistakes as they did in their past. This is one of the many reasons why they interact with humans in the present. If this card comes up in your reading, perhaps you had a Pleiadian lifetime in the ancient past when they were a young species and you are now balancing that karma here. Or perhaps you have a connection with a Pleiadian being from this mature present era who is working with you now by giving you wisdom and guidance. right? Look to the other cards for clues. It may also be possible that you are balancing karma in general and your soul desires to stop repeating old patterns from the past. This is a clear message to look at your life and your actions clearly and do whatever you can to stop repeating old destructive patterns. Always remember that wisdom neutralizes karma, for in gaining the wisdom of lessons from the past, future actions are made from a conscious place. And this is the ultimate way to balance karma. I just love how all the cards came out talking about karma and all this other kind of stuff. Like, 'cause literally, there's like, how many cards are in this thing? How many cards? Shit. I'm dropping stuff. Shit, I gotta go. How many cards are in here? Anyways, do you see how many are in here? There's a lot. You get what I'm saying? Right. So right. So either way, right? Saturn in Aquarius Pisces, right, is bringing together this opportunity to really explore our relationship with our self-responsibility, our discipline, and our creativity, right? And bringing forth all these things into fruition, right? Right? Trusting in our intuition, right? Trusting in our intuition, right? And really allowing these navigating times, right? This transition, right? To rewrite, right? To rewrite and align, to rewrite and align, right? To rewrite and align whatever we need to rewrite and align, right? So yeah, look at King of Wands, our placement here, right? So look at trusting that which we are creating here, tangible in this world, right? Tapped in, turned on, tuned into our passions and our fiery existence, right? And allowing that to blend together and play harmoniously in our lives as it should, because that's it, as we should. So, right? So it's like, I embrace, right? So affirmations, decrees, right? Decree these, right? For these transits and stuff like that. I embrace the discipline of Saturn and welcome abundance into my life. I'm confident, right? And spiritually aligned, right? Finding strength within, right? I navigate life's challenges with caution, right? Look at Victory, the sun, the Queen of Cups here. What fun, right? Right? I navigate life's challenges with caution, attracting financial stability, right? I nurture my relationships and find success through persistent effort. I excel in my professional pursuits and maintain good health. I want these to stay out, right? Right? I get out of my own way, out of my head, right? I create harmony and growth in my relationships, and education matters to me, right? I embrace hard work and create lasting stability. Ace of Wands, I bring forth new things into my reality. I enjoy, right? Like even family moments, right? And embrace hard work for a brighter future. I manage my finances wisely and strengthen bonds within my family too. That was coming up with the other cards and stuff like that. I prioritize my health and invest in a harmonious marriage, right? Union, life partnership, whatever that case may be. I face challenges with perseverance and I find my path to success, right? One of the ohms, the chants, the mantras, Om Sham Shana Sharai Nama. I know I probably butchered it. I'll write it in the description box. But Om is the universal sound, right? Sham, the seed syllable for Saturn, which is Shani, right? And Shana Sharai, I don't know how to say it, refers to Shani, the deity associated with Saturn, right? And Nama, a reverential salutation or offering, right? Right? Because this mantra is a salutation to the Lord Shani, who's often seen as a deity, right? Associated with discipline. I'm sorry, I wrote that one down, right? Responsibility, right? And the effects of one's actions, which is karma, right? So chanting this mantra is believed to seek the blessings of Lord Shani, and alleviate the challenges and obstacles in one's life, right? So either way, that's what I have for you guys. Till next time. Bye.